Dave Palumbo here for another RX Muscle rant. Today's topic is inspired by Bostin Loyd because so many people have contacted me over his new pregnancy protocol. It was essentially ripped off of mine. So I have to comment. Everyone knows I'm friends with Bostin Loyd, but sometimes he gets out of control and does extreme things. And so I want to clarify. You know, I developed a protocol for guys who are having trouble getting their wives and girlfriends or whoever they want to get pregnant many years ago. This is maybe going back about 5 years ago. And I saw that guys just couldn't get their girls pregnant. And you know, they were going to fertility doctors, spending thousands and thousands of dollars. It was taking a long time. And I said, look, it's a simple science. It's, you know, turn on sperm production. And there's three ways to really do it. You know, there's the first, you know, two ways are using HCG, okay, which is a mimicker of the pituitary hormones LH and FSH, more so of LH. So what HCG basically does is it tells the testicles produce testosterone. And when testosterone is produced locally in those testicles, what happens is it stimulates the cells that are also in there, known as the Sertoli cells, to start producing sperm. So LH, you know, the hormone luteinizing hormone, which is a mimicker, or I should say HCG is a mimicker of LH, stimulates the testicles, produce testosterone. That testosterone then tells the Sertoli cells in there produce sperm. A more direct way of doing that would be to take a mimicker of what we call FSH, and the mimickers we use are what's called HMG, human menopausal gonadotropin. Now, most people have never heard of that hormone because it's really not used in bodybuilding, because bodybuilders really just want to turn testosterone production back on after a cycle, and that's why they use HCG. But HMG is actually a stimulator of those Sertoli cells directly, and it tells them build more sperm, you know, make more sperm. So HMG, also known as Pergonal in this country, that's the brand name of it, which is a very expensive drug in this country, is something that that fertility doctors use on men and women. But predominantly, when we look at the problem with, you know, fertility in bodybuilders, it's the male who's not producing enough sperm. Now, it's very easy to see if you're a woman, if you're producing, you know, the right stuff, in the sense that if you're getting your period, number one, and you're using an ovulation test and you're ovulating, then you're good. You know, 99.9% chance you're good. It's the male bodybuilder who's not producing enough sperm that's the problem. So what we do, so I produced this two-pronged approach, this HCG, HMG protocol, and then I threw something known as Clomid in there for good measure. Now, what Clomid does is it inhibits estrogen receptors in the hypothalamus of the brain, which then releases the brain, the hypothalamus, to release a hormone known as gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates the pituitary to then release LH and FSH, which then stimulates the testicles to naturally produce testosterone and sperm. So Clomid actually unlocks the hypothalamus, which gets shut off a lot of times when we're using steroids, exogenous steroids. One of the main principles of this protocol that I've designed is to go off anabolic steroids. Okay, now there's two reasons why you go off anabolic steroids. Number one is we don't know what anabolic steroids can do in huge pharmacological dosages to the sperm cells themselves. We think they don't have any effect on them, but we really don't know. With the new study of what's called epigenetics, which is how the environment affects our genes, we're starting to find out that it's not so true that these sperm cells can't be affected by the external environment. And if you're injecting testosterone in huge amounts that's normally not present in the body, they can certainly affect the sperm cells in some way that we have yet to define. So I don't like that for number one. But number two, you know, anabolic steroids, exogenous ones, will suppress pituitary, you know, stimulation of the testicles. So we really don't want that around. If you're trying to get someone pregnant, okay, what's 3 months out of your life, you know, to have a wonderful, healthy child? So I recommend getting off all the steroids. I know Bostin Loyd wants to bang 4 grams a week, and he wants to make it an easy fix. There is no easy fix. When you're dealing with kids, someone who's a human life, you can't risk it. It's not worth staying on anabolics, okay? Use this as your clean out period. Everyone should be cleaning out anyway. I know guys out there who don't ever clean out, but you know what? Talk to me in 20 years when you have major health problems. So clean out, you know, it should only take 3 months to get someone pregnant if you do it the right way, the way I tell you. And so that was one of the principles of the theory, of the protocol. Off steroids completely, don't take anything. HCG, 2,000 IUs every other day. On the other day, you take 75 IUs of HMG. which is once again a very expensive, substance. If you get, hopefully, Titan Medical, I've talked to them. Hopefully they're going to be carrying that pretty soon, so you guys will be able to get that at an affordable price. They carry the HCG and Clomid now. They do my pregnancy protocol as is. Now, Bostin Loyd would have you think that I'm some kind of like wimp when it comes to dosages. And anyone who knows Dave Palumbo knows that I'm a big believer in using effective dosages of everything, but I'm not an abuser of dosages, and there's a difference, okay? There's use and there's abuse, okay? 2,000 IUs of HCG every other day is a lot of HCG, and it's more than enough. If Boston's going to think that because he's recommending 5,000 units of HCG every other day, something that probably most people couldn't afford to do, that's overkill. And I think it's irresponsible to say that and try to imply that that's what is necessary, because it's not. And I can tell you countless number of people who have gotten their wives pregnant using the protocol that I designed. It's also ironic, I find, that Boston would say that my protocol is too weak when he's using the exact same protocol that I gave him, except instead of using 2,000 units of HCG every other day, he's using 5. I mean, so it's ridiculous. Once again, stop the extremes, Boston. I love you. You're a great friend. You came to visit me in the hospital. You're always, I'm always there for you, but don't spread irresponsible, information. We're talking about a human life we're trying to develop here. Also, another bit of I think, irresponsible information that was disseminated was the use of Clomid in women. I know his girlfriend, Ariella, who also I'm very good friends with, used Clomid to supposedly help this process. Women don't have problems with ovulation unless you have an actual diagnosis of a problem. You don't just use Clomid. Clomid causes multiple ovulations in women, so you could have multiple births. The good thing that Ariella did was she didn't know how to use the Clomid properly, and she took it on the wrong days. You're supposed to take it 5 days in a row, 50 milligrams per day, starting the 5th day of your period. So day 5 of your period, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10. That's how you do it, because what you're doing is you're building up and you're going to cause your body to release more eggs than it normally would, which increases obviously the chance of pregnancy. The problem is when you release multiple eggs, because women naturally release 1 egg, unless you have twins running in your family, but if you release 4 eggs and 2 of them get fertilized, now you have twins. Not so bad, right? What if 4 get released and 4 get fertilized? Now you can have quadruplets. And you know what? The risk of birth defects, breathing problems, premature births are so high in multiple birth pregnancies. Why would you want to risk that? I mean, it's ludicrous. It's irresponsible. Women don't need to take Clomid. They should not take Clomid unless they have been diagnosed as having a problem with ovulation. So just to recap, the Palumbo pregnancy protocol is 2,000 IUs of HCG every other day, 75 IUs of HMG every other day, 50 milligrams of Clomid per day, and no anabolic steroids. Women should not take anything fertility. If you're getting your period on a regular basis, the best thing you can do is go buy an ovulation kit, okay? And you pee on the ovulation test every morning. It'll tell you if you're ovulating on the days that you're ovulating, and right before that, you definitely want to have sex every day to make sure you maximize the chance of getting pregnant. That's it. It's easy. There's nothing else that needs to be done. You don't have to do massive amounts. You don't have to spend a ridiculous amount of money on this. Be responsible, because you're going to have a kid and you're going to have to be responsible with the kid, and you want your son or daughter to be healthy as possible. Listen to me. Think rationally. Don't do extreme things. I'm Dave Palumbo with another RX Muscle Rant.